Alright, so, another episode, huh? Another gay in the races, I guess. Woo! Holy fucking shit. Okay, I just want to get out of the way that, despite all the problems that I have with this episode, which I do, this is the most entertaining episode of this show that I've ever watched. In the same way that The Last Jedi is the most entertaining Star Wars film that I ever watched. It was a complete fucking mess. Jesus Christ. Alright, so this is completely unscripted. This is just me giving out my opinion, so it's gonna be all over the place. Like, I have... You know, if the writers of the show aren't gonna put effort into developing anything, I'm not gonna put effort in this video. I'm just gonna fucking talk, and if you're bored, I don't give a fuck. You know, because the writers don't give a fuck, I don't really give a fuck. Fuck you. Yeah, fuck you specifically. I'm talking about fuck you specific. Okay, so, I don't know where to start. The beginning of this episode was fine. You know, Varys, I was hoping that he would do more. But, you know, I guess he did send a lot of letters to other lords telling them to, you know, forget about Daenerys and to like focus on Jon Snow. So, you know, he did play his part, and his death kind of served as a martyr, sort of like to, you know, make everyone question Daenerys more. But, you know, it did make sense for her to kill him. I mean, he did betray her. I just don't like the fact that it was Tyrion that did it. I don't know, it just felt like I was kind of hoping more for like Jon Snow to sort of talk to her and be like, yo, this motherfucker just like he wants you gone. Like, you know, I would have been better with that because, you know, as far as I know, like, Jon Snow doesn't really give a shit about Varys. Like, he never, I don't know, did he ever talk to Varys? I saw, aside from that once, like, at the beginning of this episode. Like, I don't know, like, so, you know, just, it's kind of sad for Tyrion to do that, but, you know, whatever. He is kind of a dumbass now, and it's to be expected. Yeah, but pretty much, like, this entire episode, like, everything up until the Belle part was pretty good. I thought that, yeah, you know, she took care of, like, those fucking scorpions pretty easily, but, you know, she kind of, you know, she was more ready this time, and this time she didn't forget about the Iron Fleet, but I guess Euron forgot about her, because he looked very surprised when he saw the dragon, which is like, what is wrong with these people? Jesus Christ. But, you know, that easy victory was sort of, you know, it was to be expected as soon as I saw how big the army was. Because I thought that the army was gonna be much smaller, but I guess it isn't. So it was an easy victory, but I was okay with that. And I was expecting, okay, fucking spoilers, fuck you, spoilers. But, yeah, I was expecting for Cersei to go all batshit insane. Like, I was really expecting that to happen. But just not in a way that it did. Like, for instance, like, when, you know, it was before, like, when, you know, the Kingsguard dropped, you know, the weapons, and, like, the bell started ringing, I was just, you know, expecting, like, Daenerys to go, like, burn them. And, fucking, no, not Daenerys, Cersei. For Cersei to go, like, fuck her, burn him, and then, like, you know, she or for instance, for her to have like a secret, like one more, you know, scorpion that's like in her palace, which would make sense, you know, for her to keep in case that happens, you know, and like to have her shoot at the dragon, and then for her to, like, you know, for Daenerys to, like, barely dodge it, and to be like, oh fuck you, bitch, and to go after her. I would have been completely fine with it. And even as it is, I would have been fine with it had she just gone to the Red Keep to attack Cersei, and then, you know, once she did that, those King Guards, like, picked up their swords, like, yo, what the fuck, and then went after them, and then there was this little fight, and there would still be casualties, you know, and it would have been fine. Like, I'm fine with that happening, because, you know, that would make sense. Like, it would make sense for it to flip a little bit. Like, her, you know, everyone she loves is dead. You know, she even says, like, nobody loves her, and Jon Snow fucking rejects her. Like, it makes sense for her to, you know, go a bit crazy, and for her to get pissed, and for her to go after Cersei. Like, I'm completely fine with it. But they went fucking overboard. Which, I mean, as I already said, it's fucking entertaining because I don't give a shit anymore. Was I still invested in this? I would, like, be like, what the fuck, you know, I would be angry, but I just found it hilarious. Like, it was such, and it was very good shot scene, like, and, like, but she just went overboard, like, deliberately killing, like children and women and like civilians that had nothing to do with this. I understand like her attacking Cersei and the Kingsguard, and like some civilians get caught in the crossfire. I completely understand that, and I would have been fine with that. But her deliberately like going like and fucking burning everyone, like all she needed was to fucking start laughing maniacally, like going on like she's a fucking Joker, like burning everything, and like, oh my god. But like, you know, it just came out of nowhere. And like, I could swear to God, like when I was watching this scene originally, like when it was like the wait for the bells to ring, I thought I heard a whisper, like when it zoomed to Daenerys' face, kill. I thought I heard that, but when I rewatched it, I didn't hear anything. So that might have been just a voice in my head. But yeah, she just fucking for no reason starts killing. Just starts killing fucking everyone. Jon Snow is in fucking like, he's shocked. He doesn't know what the fuck is going on. Grey Worm fucking loses it. He just starts massacring everyone. Like just randomly, the Northern Army, Jon Snow is like, stop, everyone just stop. And like the Northern Army just starts fucking raping women and just killing everyone. Grey Worm's just going, which once again, I get him like, you know, attacking like, you know, the Royal Guard and whatever. But like, what the fuck, why, like they went so overboard. And like, I would have been, like, for instance, if in the books, this entire, like, this event plays exactly the same, I think in the books it would work, because we would get, like, we would, you know, sort of get everything from, we would get something from, like, Daenerys' point of view, like, we would get some of her inner monologue, like, where she would, like, you know, we would know at least where her headspace is. And I'm sure that the books, like if they do decide to go this exact same route, they will flesh it out. We will have some scenes of her like losing her mind, and it would make sense. And like, you know, if we just had like a scene when like when Tyrion says like she's alone and she's not speaking to anyone, like if we just had like a scene of her like standing like and like just fucking like twitching or something, like just going you know, it would make more sense. And like, you know, for instance, for, you know, or at least, you know, just like have her like just stare like dadless, like dad like staring the outside, and like have some like tension build, like, and then Tyrion comes in, is just like, what, you know, or something like that, or like have, you know, some, like maybe it would be cliche to have like some sort of voices say kill them all, like before, you know, like you know, in that scene, like when they're Dragonstone, you know, like it would be cliche, but it would at least like build it up a little better, because like the pieces are there, right? Like she lost like her dragon, she only has one left. She lost her best friend. You know, like, nobody supports her, nobody loves her. Like, the pieces are in place. You just needed, like, a bit more time. Which, once again, brings me back to, like, just give it more time. You have to give a story time to breathe, right? You know, just give her a few scenes of, like, you know, her like losing it, and like, you know, and just like after, or for instance after like Jon Snow leaves her and she's alone, like have her like, you know, just like, you know, just have her, just flesh it out more, have more scenes of her like losing her shit. And then when that happens, and when, you know, she completely like it wouldn't be like, they wanted to make it shocking, right? But fuck shocking, we don't need shocking. Like it would have been just as shocking, like, you know, for instance, oh my god, I am so fucking all over the place. Like Red Wedding, right? In Red Wedding, the reason that it works is not because everyone dies all of a sudden. Like, it's not like everyone's having a happy good old time and just all of a sudden everyone gets stabbed. If that was the case, Red Wedding wouldn't be impactful, it would just be confusing and out of nowhere. Instead, we have this small, like, slow building tension of, like, you know, Robb Stark looking around, there's the archers, you know, like the music starts swelling up and it's like, something bad's gonna happen, but what you don't know is how bad it's going to get. And in here, it does work a similar way. Like, you know, like you see Daenerys' face, and you know she's gonna do something bad, and you don't know how bad it's gonna get. So the scene works. It's just that the build-up to the scene doesn't. Which, like, once again, like, this episode could have been amazing. Like, this episode in and of itself is really good. Like, I have no complaints about it. Like, maybe, you know, Euron surviving, you know, plot armor for Euron didn't make any sense until, like, he dies. But, like, you know, and Arya's plot armor, like, those are the two complaints. Like, everything else was great. I loved the Clegane Bowl. I thought it was done spectacularly. Like, you know, it was very, like, it was very satisfying. I like everything in this episode. Had this episode had better build-up, it would have been like a 10 out of 10 fucking episode, the best episode of the show, because in my opinion, everything that happens is great, it's just there's not enough build-up to it. And it all falls flat. I literally felt like I fell asleep and I was dreaming like a weird version of this episode, and I was just waiting to wake up. But yeah, like, you know, this isn't much of a review. Like, there's no structure to it. Like, at least I gave myself an easy job of not editing everything. Like, this is like, I'm just like, I just finished watching the episode. It's just me talking about it. And like, yeah, that's overall my opinion. I have nothing more to say. I don't want to repeat myself. Like, this show just, holy shit, like, you know, like, it's just, you know, all those people, like all the talented people, like the director, all the costume designers, the special effects artists, the fucking composition, the music in this episode, holy shit. The music in this episode, like, they use the same track as they do when Cersei, like, blows up the fucking Great Septum. And it's so good, like, it's my favorite track of the entire show, that and The Long Night, or The Night is Long and Full of Terrors. But like, you know, and it's so good. Like, this episode is filmed so great, and like, you know, just everything in this episode. I really like Jon Snow in this episode, you know, like when he saves that one woman, like it just felt nice, you know, it felt like, you know, he felt like a hero, and you know, it was a good scene, and like a lot of good scenes, just poor build up, and it just came out of nowhere. It just came out of nowhere, this whole transformation. You know, it didn't come out of nowhere. It was set up, but not enough. You know, once again, had it just been her blowing up, you know, the Red Keep, killing a few civilians along the way, and you know, causing she would still cause a ruckus, and it would still be bad, and it would still be like, we need to stop her, but it would make more sense with the build-up that we got. It would have made more sense for that than for her to start killing civilians. Alright, let me give you a little analogy to make it more understandable, alright? Imagine a seesaw, like a big seesaw, and like on one side we have build-up, and on the one side, on the other we have payoff. Alright, I just need to make sure that the logo for the water isn't in it. Alright, it isn't. I don't want to get fucking sued. Alright, so the Long Night episode, right? The Night King storyline. Here's the build-up. Alright, and now we need payoff in order to balance it back, right? And here's the payoff. It falls fucking flat. Now let's take a look at this episode, right? Here's the build-up. Alright, there's a bit of build up there, and here's the payoff. It fucking broke. The seesaw fucking defied the laws of physics, and it fucking broke. It went overboard. There wasn't enough setup. They could have still had her kill civilians, but then we needed more setup. And that's just the fact. Like, once again, the biggest problem is short season, you know, and that you know, there's not much more I can say. Yeah, like, fuck you, just fuck all of you, go fuck you. I'm gonna go fucking kill myself.